Hear ye, gather around as we talk about some of the other teams that Pittsburgh Penguins legend Sidney Crosby could potentially get traded to. Ooh, baby, this is gonna go over well with the fans, isn't it? What I wanted to do was respond to an article that I saw on thescore.com. This was written and published by John Matisse, imagining Crosby elsewhere, Schaefer's unique spot, and 6 other NHL items. Quite a proclamation and marketing, isn't it? But still, this is an interesting piece that dives into a whole bunch of NHL things. There are 8 different subjects written about here. Schaefer, Dubois, Sidney Crosby, the CBA, and a bunch of other stuff too. But as you have come to expect based off of the title and the thumbnail of this video, there is a particular segment in this article that talks about Sid the Kid. He needs no introduction. You know what he's about. He's a 90-point caliber player right now at 38 years old. He's making $8.7 million a year. He's very talented. He's legendary. And despite the fact that he has said that he wants to stay in Pittsburgh, we have gotten ourselves some updates that indicate that people around Sidney Crosby are already trying to open him up to the idea of him leaving. In fact, this was talked about by Elliot Friedman on the Fan Hockey Show yesterday. How, in regards to a Crosby trade, he thinks there's people around Crosby who have tried to warm him up to the idea of it. People were saying to him, you should be in the playoffs. So, yeah, nice update there. I think all of this conversation, I would not be surprised if it eventually manifested into an actual trade for Sid the Kid. If the guy actually ended up getting moved and became something else, a Canadian or an Avalanche or whatever. That's what the article on The Score talks about. It opens up by describing this over here, that the writer, John Matisse, personally finds it a little bit difficult to imagine even Crosby in a different uniform. We assume for the longest time he'd be a one-team player. Then again, circumstances change. An athlete's career, even one as prosperous as Crosby's, is rarely as long as the athlete wants it to be. What-ifs can become more compelling when the end approaches. If Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, and other all-timers can make late career pivots, why not Crosby? The main reason Crosby would leave Pittsburgh mid-season next offseason during the 26-27 campaign or in free agency is the chase a 4th Stanley Cup. He also cares about his public image and the history of the game, so his list of preferred destinations would probably be shorter than most players. Here are 5 teams ordered from most likely to least likely that make sense. Now, the Avalanche are actually listed as number 1, followed by the Montreal Canadiens, so Matthias here on The Score is one of the rare people I'd say that actually puts Colorado out front. I think the majority of fans are thinking that Montreal is in the lead, but I guess that's where things may differ. But there are 3 other teams written about here in the bottom that I wanted to dive into here as well. The 3rd overall team is Edmonton. The lure of playing with McDavid and Draisaitl. Sub in McDavid's new NHL city if the best player in the world leaves the Oilers. Number 4, you've got the Florida Panthers, a cup contender working on dynasty status, a model franchise. And number 5, the Vegas Golden Knights. Somehow, some way, they're in on virtually every high-profile player. And, yeah, I'm just sitting here kind of thinking how many hairs I'm going to pull out every single night before I go to bed if Crosby ends up becoming a Golden Knight or even an Oiler. I mean, okay, realistically, if Crosby goes over to Edmonton and you get a McDavid, Crosby, Draisaitl trio, I'm not going to say that I'm not a Canucks homer because I definitely am, but like, man, the idea of Edmonton winning the Stanley Cup and breaking the Canadian curse, I honestly do vibe with that. I don't know, man. Canucks fans are going to crucify me for saying that. But, yeah, if y'all get Crosby, Edmonton, if y'all get Sidney Crosby, you win the cup, I'll be slightly happy for a little bit. Sidney Crosby getting his 4th Stanley Cup. Connor McDavid finally getting it. And by the way, what's up with that little write-up here in the article? Oh, Crosby can go to whichever team McDavid goes to. If it's not Edmonton, it's going to be wherever else. Like, Boy, could you imagine if Toronto got their hands on McDavid and Crosby went over there? Ay, ay, ay. We wouldn't hear the end of it. Core 4? How about Core 6? But ultimately, these other teams being involved here, I think it does make sense as well. Just from a cap management point of view, you will have realistically no problems getting Sidney Crosby if Kyle Dubas and the Penguins are willing to retain. Which, based off of everything we know about Kyle, if Sid the Kid wants himself out, he wants to go to a team like Florida, or he wants a team like Vegas, for example, over Montreal or Colorado, if he wants it, Dubas will make it happen. Like, who is Kyle Dubas to go out there and deny what Sidney Crosby wants? If Crosby wants it, he'll get it. And if Dubas says, all right, well, we need to retain 50% of your salary to make it work, he's going to do it. Like, that's straight up how it's going to go. $8.7 million is not a lot, after all. I mean, Darnell Nurse makes more than that. So, cut it in half, get yourselves a $4.35 million AAV superstar at the level of talent that Sidney Crosby is, have him as your second-line center, and go win yourself another gosh darn Stanley Cup. Vegas getting Sidney Crosby would be a nightmare. They already have Jack Eichel and Marner and Mark Stone and everybody else. Like, they could use the cap savings from Alex Pietrangelo to get Sid the Kid. Who knows? That's totally in the wheelhouse of what Vegas would do. Thomas Hurdle be damned, he might get sent over, whatever. Like, there are a number of players, I think, that the Vegas Golden Knights and Florida Panthers would say, yeah, we would take Crosby over you. Sorry. For Florida, it's kind of difficult because they're already such a good team. Essentially the best team in hockey, physical as all hell, super talented goal-scoring-wise, solid defense, top-tier goaltending, they've got it all. And if they just got Sidney Crosby, then that'd be yet another one of these guys to join the team as a rental and allow them to cement their dynasty status. 3 cups in a row? Is that possible? I mean, we haven't seen that since the gosh darn New York Islanders in the 80s. Double cups in a row? That's happened a few times. But 3? That would definitely be something to pay attention to. We've seen the triple finalists, though. Tampa Bay, 2020, 2021, 2022. They made themselves the finals. Couldn't get that last victory, though, over Nathan McKinnon and the Colorado Avalanche. Florida, though, 3 straight trips to the finals already. Could they make it 4 if they get Sidney Crosby? You'd replace, essentially, like, Claude Giroux with Tarasenko, with Sidney Crosby. You got Marchand in there as well. I mean, Marchand and Crosby, you got to remember, back in 2016 at the World Cup of Hockey for Team Canada, those guys were on a line together and they were really, really good. I mean, it's literally 9 years later, 10 years later, when the 2026 playoffs rolls around, but I kind of wonder if that chemistry, if that spark still exists. Who knows? But with all this in mind, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about these other proposed Sidney Crosby trade destinations? Edmonton, Vegas, Florida. Are they actually worth thinking about? And what's the price? I think the price is kind of irrelevant because it's almost like if Sid wants it to happen, it'll happen. Doesn't matter if the team has the assets to pay for it. Doesn't matter if Kyle Dubas has to retain money. Whatever Crosby wants will go. And despite his loyalty throughout this entire process, I don't think anybody would be blaming him if at any point he decides, yeah, I think I might just want to go to another team. So, do you agree, disagree with this right up here? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video at any point, then feel free to hit the like button. Also, dislikes are very much appreciated too. Comment section is your floor. It helps us out with the algorithm. I hope you enjoyed this video. Troll 99. And bye.